So in the books of Philips India Limited, we have the branch stock account. Then there is branch debtors, branch expenses. We need the branch petty cash also. Branch petty cash account. The adjustment is not required, but the profit and loss will be required because the final account, your answer comes in the profit and loss account. Yes, adjustment is only when it's given as cost plus profit or selling price or invoice price. Right now it's at cost. So if it's at cost, how are you going to calculate that profit? Okay, and they've not even told you the percentage of profit. They've just said at cost. So only when it is cost plus profit or selling price or invoice price, that's when we open the adjustment account, transfer all those loadings or the stock reserves to the adjustment. So let's start solving. We have the opening balances. 1st January 2007. Two balance brought down. Be careful, you don't have to calculate anything on this. There's no stock reserve because it's all at cost. Okay. Similarly, we have a balance for debtors is 1,05,000. The debtors account, two balance brought down 1,05,000. Similarly, we have an opening balance in the petty cash account of 750. $750. Remember, it's petty cash, not cash. So it's just for the petty cash items. Goods received from head office. These are goods sent by the head office. So same thing. On 31st December 2007, two goods sent to branch account. Always the transfers between head office and branch and head office, always under the head of goods sent to branch account. 1,95,000. Okay. If we had a goods sent to branch account, I would have shown this, like how I did in the first problem of stock and debtor system. I just opened a goods sent to branch account to show you how the transfers can be made. Okay, otherwise this does not come anywhere else. So goods received from head office, goods returned to head office on 31st December 2007 by goods sent to branch account. The returns are 3,600. Then we have cash sales by cash sales. If there was a cash account, I would have shown this in the cash account as well and then transferred everything to the head office, but there's no cash account. Okay, and that time if I had shown it in the cash account, I would have said by branch cash. But right now I'm just saying by cash sale, just to understand what it is. By cash sales, 1,27,500. Then we also have expenses paid by head office. So the expenses of the branch. Salary and wages, 28,000. To salary and wages, 28,000. Trade expenses, 7,500. To trade expenses, 7,500. And then we have rent, 9,500. To rent, 9,500. Cash sent for petty expenses. So this is the cash come for the expenses, okay, from the head office. These are not the expenses, these are not the petty cash expenses, but the cash that has been received from the head office. So I will put it as in petty cash to head office amount sent, amount received for petty expenses. Amount received for petty expenses. And how much have they sent? They've sent an amount of 710. 710. Okay. Next one. Discount allowed to customers 10,500. Allowances to customers, bad debts. All these are branch debtors, will come in branch debtors as well as branch expenses. Okay, because it's also expenses. So in branch debtors, I'm going to show it as 31st December 2007 by branch expenses. So you first have discount allowed 10,500. Discount allowed 10,500. I told you don't have to type branch expenses every time. You can just type the expense. It all comes under the same head of branch expenses. Allowances to customers 1,200. Allowances 1,200. And we also have bad debts. Bad debts are 2,800. Bad debts are 2,800. Okay, now we can transfer all these to the branch expenses account. So two branch debtors, we had discount allowed. We had some allowances. And we also had bad debts. So discount allowed was 10,500, 1,200 and 2,800. 10,500, 1,200 and 2,800. 2,800. Next we have cash received from debtors 1,96,500. Cash received from debtors. So by cash 1,96,500. And then I think the closing balances. Closing balance of the stock account. Just leave a line. Okay, just you never know what side you may. Just leave a few lines because closing balance is always the last item. Buy balance carry down 56,700. Okay, 56,700. Branch debtors is 126,600. So the moment you see the balance carried down of branch debtors and you've also got the cash received from your debtors, that means something else may be missing. If the branch is debtors account doesn't tally. 126,600. 126,600. And you also have the closing balance of petty cash, that is 360. Buy balance carry down 360. 31st December 2007. Okay. Now the closing here will be slightly tricky or slightly different. Normally we would start with branch stock account. Okay, normally we would start with branch stock account, but right now I'm not going to start with the branch stock account because as I was solving the problem, this is how you should also think, or this is how your mind, your thought process should flow. As you're solving the problem, you have realized that in the debtors account there is something missing. Okay, you've got the cash received, you've got the balance carried down. These are the usual items that are missing. Now in this problem, there's something else missing in the debtors problem. Sorry, this is not. On the balancing figure. Can anyone tell me what is missing in the debtors account? Can anyone tell me what is missing in the debtors account? That thing has to be there. The fact that there are debtors, that thing has to be there. So what is that? The fact that there are branch debtors, this has to be there. What is it? Yes, very good. It's a credit sales that have not been given to us in the problem. It's a credit sales that have not been given to us in the problem. So on 31st December 2007, I have credit sales. I have to show credit sales, and credit sales will come this way. Okay. Now, if you tally this, you will get a total of, you get a total of 337,600, 337,600, 337,600. Okay, so that means your balance is this way, and the balancing figure here is 1,05,000. Sorry, not 1,05,000. 232,600. 232,600. Okay, so this goes to branch stock account. This goes to branch stock. These are the credit sales, which is the balancing figure in this account. Which is the balancing figure in this account. Okay, so if I say to branch stock, in branch stock, it will come as by branch debtors credit sales, and that comes to 232,600. 232,600. Okay, now we can close the branch stock account. Now we can close the branch stock account. Now say suppose you had just closed the branch stock account. Okay, you didn't realize that something was missing in debtors. You didn't even realize. So you just started closing, you started with the branch stock account as usual. Okay, you would have called this directly gross profit. But then when you come to debtors, you would have realized there's something missing. So that time you would have had to go back and cancel. So be a little alert. This just requires kind of presence of mind to know what these things. These are simple things. Branch debtors always has to have credit sales. The fact that debtors are there, that means there are goods that are being sold on credit. Okay. So if you see the side, this is heavier. So we have here total of 4,20,400. 4,20,400. And then we calculate now. I told you, if you remember in the note, in the 19 problem, I think I had that note put up in the before the problem started. When goods are transferred at cost between the head office and the branch and the head office, okay, we don't prepare the branch adjustment account. We don't prepare the branch adjustment account, and hence the balancing figure of the branch stock account would be gross profit. In the other method that we just finished, the previous problem that we just finished, we don't have the balancing figure of this account as gross profit, because gross profit or gross loss becomes the balancing figure of the adjustment account. But here we don't have the adjustment account. So the balancing figure of this becomes becomes gross profit or gross loss, whatever it is. Okay, so remember that thing. Whenever the goods are transferred at cost, there's no adjustment account, and hence gross profit is the balancing figure of the stock. So here we will have as to branch profit and loss account. In brackets, I'm going to put it as gross profit. So gross profit is 4,20,400 minus 65,400 minus 1,95,000. That comes to 1,60,000. That comes to 1,60,000. Okay, this is the balancing figure. This is the balancing figure. So immediately transfer this to the gross profit and loss account. 31st December 2007 by branch stock account. gross profit 1,60,000. Now coming to this, okay. Uh, Now, normally what we would have done, we have closed the branch debtors and we have closed the branch stock. Okay, we have found out the balancing figures. Now, normally what would we would have done is the we would have totaled this branch expenses and transferred the entire amount to profit and loss. But can we total this directly, or do you think something else has to come here? Can we total the branch expenses, or do you think something else needs to come in the branch expenses account? Do you think anything else should come in the branch expenses account? Look at the petty cash account and look at the branch expenses account. What do you think should come? Or should we total it directly? The branch expenses account. Because petty cash account surely has a balancing figure. If you see, this is much higher than this. Petty cash account surely has a balancing figure. So how do we go about this? Uh, Miyaka, what did you mean by that? You meant balance the petty cash first. That's what you meant? Balance the petty cash first. So what do you mean by that? Petty cash balance. What is the meaning of petty cash balance? What's the meaning of petty cash balance? What you just said? I don't know. What do you think is missing in the petty cash account, which is normally given to us? What do you think is missing in the petty cash account, which is normally okay? Take the balance in expense account. But what is that balance? We can't just take the balance in expense account. It has to be relevant to the expense account. And what? So what is that balance? That's what I want to know. What is that balance? What is that balance? What would that balance be? What would be the balance of the petty cash account? I think it's yes, it's going to be the petty expenses, the actual expenses. Normally they give it to us, and we show by actual petty cash expenses. Okay, and those same petty cash expenses we also show on the branch expenses. So right now, okay, say suppose I had already closed the branch expenses account. When I come here, I would have realized that that was missing. So then I would have had to rebalance the branch expenses account. Okay, but now I know I can see that it's missing. So this is 1460, 1460. So 460 minus 360 is 1100 here. So this we have as on 31st December 2007 by branch expenses, which are the actual petty expenses. And this is the balancing figure. This is the balancing figure. So if I say by branch expenses here it will be 2 branch petty cash, actual petty expenses. Actual petty expenses 1001. And now we can transfer this entire total to the branch expenses account, which is the total is 60,600. 60,600. So we have here 31st December 2007 by branch P and L account. 60,600. And in the P&L account, you show it as the total of all the expenses. 2 branch expenses, 60,600. So we have a gross profit of 1,60,000, expenses of 60,600. So this will come to 99,000. This comes to 99,400. This is the 2 general profit and loss balancing figure. Okay, so this is the final net profit.